The grand old house creaked, but not from age. It was the sound of a very determined cat and an impossibly nimble mouse. Tom, a sleek blue-gray tabby with an ego as inflated as his paws were quick, was currently executing his latest foolproof plan, a net trap disguised as a picnic blanket. Jerry, meanwhile, was not impressed. He was already halfway across the kitchen table, a single perfect crumb of cheesecake clutched in his tiny paws, darting between the sugar bowl and the butter dish. His whiskers twitched in amusement as he watched Tom, tail twitching, tiptoe towards the supposed bait. Almost there, Tom whispered to himself, his eyes narrowed in concentration. Jerry, with a mischievous flick of his tail, stopped dead in his tracks. He popped the crumb into his mouth, then, with a grin that stretched his tiny face, winked at Tom. That was it. Tom roared, abandoning all stealth. "Jerry!" What followed was less a chase and more a whirlwind of domestic disaster. Tom lunged, missed, and skidded on a stray grape, sending him sailing headfirst into a stack of pots and pans. Clang! Crash! Boom! He emerged, dizzy, with a colander jammed on his head like a ridiculous helmet. Jerry, laughing so hard he almost dropped his imaginary monocle, used the discarded spoon as a makeshift catapult, sending a cherry tomato ricocheting off Tom's nose. Tom swiped wildly, overturning a vase of flowers, which drenched him and left a puddle for him to slip in moments later, sending him sprawling into the laundry basket. He surfaced covered in sacks. Suddenly, a booming voice echoed from the doorway. "Tom, what in the blazes is going on here?" It was Miss Periwinkle, the homeowner, hands on hips, face red with exasperation. Her gaze swept over the chaotic kitchen. Water, upturned furniture, a cat wearing a sock hat. Tom froze, wide-eyed. Jerry, seeing his nemesis's predicament, stopped laughing. A flicker of something that looked suspiciously like concern, or perhaps just a desire to keep his primary source of entertainment, crossed his face. He quickly scampered onto Tom's shoulder and whispered frantically into his ear, "Hide, you oaf, under the rug!" Tom, surprisingly, understood. As Miss Periwinkle advanced, he dived under the nearest rug, a lumpy, moving mound. Jerry, a mere bump on Tom's head, poked a tiny finger out and gave a plaintive meow. Miss Periwinkle squinted. "Tom, did I just hear a mouse meow?" She sighed, shaking her head. "I swear that cat is losing his mind." She stumped off, muttering about hiring an exterminator. As soon as her footsteps faded, Tom slowly emerged, disheveled but safe. He looked at Jerry, who hopped off his head and brushed a speck of dust from his whiskers. Tom extended a paw, as in thanks. Jerry, however, just grinned. With a lightning-fast movement, Jerry snatched the last tiny speck of cheesecake from Tom's ear. Tom's eyes widened. "Hey!" And the chase was on again, the house once more filled with a delightful symphony of chaos, as it always had been and always would be.